It's time to update the My Hero One's Justice 2 tier list. Not only do we need to add the latest DLC character Hawks to the list, we also need to change a few characters around because with Hawks came a pretty sizable patch, so a lot of these characters are gonna change places. I actually streamed this whole process on Twitch this time, link down below if you want to watch me live. I streamed the whole explanation of why each and every single character has changed spots, and this was a 2-hour discussion with Smoke, who is an absolute tech monster in One's Justice 2. And from that back and forth, we arrived at this new tier list. Brought to you by the top tier of wallets, Ridge. Ridge is this small wallet that I've been using for about a year now, and I have been carrying less stuff thanks to it. I'm no longer keeping useless receipts or cards that I don't care about because this honestly carries everything that I need. Cash on the back with a clip, cards on the inside, no need to carry a big bulky wallet in my pants. I travel lighter and I travel happier. Especially since I know that I'll never need another wallet. This one is for life. Built from military grade materials like titanium or carbon fiber, all Ridge wallets come with a lifetime guarantee. If you decide to get one of these and it turns out you don't like it, it's not your thing, you can return it for free within 45 days and get your money back. No explanations required. And if you do it right now, you can get a 10% discount by clicking the link down below and typing code Globku10 at checkout. Shipping is also free, so there really is no risk in buying a Ridge wallet if you've ever been curious. Thank you, Ridge, for sponsoring this video. We're gonna start updating this tier list with some changes that are pretty small, just moving characters very slightly, you know, a couple of spots. And first up is Nejire. We're gonna move her below Toga, simply because she's not the pressure queen that I claimed she was. I was scared of her pressure before, it doesn't seem that strong now. But she still has good stage control and damage. I just think Toga has better buttons, so we're gonna change that. And then we're gonna change Rappa and put him above Stain. Rappa is actually a very strong character, he just has no tools against zoning, so he's gonna lose against most of the cast. And since the current meta is playing keep away, Rappa's speed is gonna make it pretty hard for him to catch up. Those are the small changes, let's move on to some bigger ones, and I'm gonna start with some characters that weren't really affected by the patch. I mean, some of these characters may be in the patch notes, but the reason why I'm moving them around is because new tech was discovered, or I simply changed my mind about them. First up is Seiji. He's gonna climb way higher. We're putting him above Momo. First of all, the current meta is playing keep away, waiting for your assist cooldowns to come back. Seiji shuts down that playstyle completely by being able to dash and throw projectiles at the same time. His pressure is insane. He can bait buttons with a big hand palm that will actually block attacks from the front, and if he has the fingers loaded up, he can make you block the fingers before hitting you with the unblockable. Plus, the downside and the reason why I put him at the bottom of A tier was because he couldn't deal that much damage. His combos haven't really changed, but if you look at the meter that he builds, he can safely dash cancel pretty much every combo, which gives him average damage while having an above average pressure and neutral. Very high A tier, no question about it. Also coming up to A tier is Amajiki, and the reason why he's climbing this high is because people found a gravity reset for him. If you don't know what a gravity reset is, basically you end the combo at the bottom of a wall and you catch your opponent stuck between gravities. As he's switching from the wall to the ground, you hit him into a brand new combo with brand new scaling. Gravity resets are strong with every character, but especially with Amajiki because of his clam. The clam gives him wall splats from any combo, which means he gets a gravity reset pretty much every time he touches you. And if the stage doesn't have any walls, he still has a really strong knockdown, and the loops give him a bit more damage in the air, or at least more than he had back when I made the previous tier list. So he's gonna raise a full tier thanks to that newfound tech. Gang Orca is a damage monster full of yellow attacks, so he's gonna raise a few slots in the B tier. Being armored most of the time makes it very dangerous to try to counter him, and because of his tilt quirk 1, it can also be very dangerous to sidestep and punish him after he misses a yellow attack. However, some of that damage is very situational and requires very precise timing. So it's not that reliable, which is why he's not gonna climb higher than this, despite Smoke thinking he's an A tier character. I think he's pretty high as he is right now. Froppy is up next, and she was never a D tier. We just didn't see the light back then. Froppy actually lost her loops in this patch, but that's okay because she didn't need them. Froppy actually has really good wall splat potential with the easiest gravity reset in the entire game, combined with a really good red attack and the ability to turn invisible, which means no projectiles or attacks will track you at all. We're gonna put her at B tier. And I feel like we haven't found all of her tech yet. Tokayami is gonna raise from C tier to the bottom of B tier, and this isn't based on new tech or anything. I just kind of ran into a couple of Tokayami players who were able to execute tech that we already knew about pretty consistently, stuff that I thought was a bit harder to execute on match. Stuff like covering all of your wake up options with Dark Shadow, which is gonna make you block after you wake up, and with the right assist, forcing you to guard cancel, otherwise your guard gets broken. And then on top of that, using the Dark Shadow Summon as a reversal tool can be super effective as well. And finally, Kirishima, from the top of D tier to the bottom of C tier. I was actually gonna put him ahead of Night Eye, but the patch made Night Eye's parry a bit faster, so you can use it in more gaps now. It's still hard to do on reaction, but at least you can now react to yellow attacks. Kirishima's position has risen though, mostly because of the tech displayed by Mario in the latest tournaments. One of Kirishima's biggest downsides is how unsafe he is after activating his armor, but Mario makes it safe by running away from the opponent until he has assists, and Kirishima's running speed allows him to do that. He also activates the armor when he's close enough to the opponent, forcing them to block, and after blocking, you can dash cancel that activation. So you have armor, and on top of that, you made the move safe. He also uses it as a counter attack, which almost counts as a very fast yellow. On top of that, the use of his rolling quirks to dodge red attacks or punish attempts was just superb. And that really showed Kirishima has the tools to be a C tier. And that brings us to the end of my changes for characters that weren't really affected by the patch. Now let's move on to the patched characters. And those are Mirio, Uraraka, Keimi, and Compress. I'm gonna start with Compress because despite the patch, his position isn't gonna change that much. I believe that Compress is the worst character in the game right now. And the latest patch only solidified that opinion for me. Well, technically, I think Fat Gum is the worst character in the game, but Slim Gum is a decent character, so we have to balance those out. That said, most of the time, you're playing as Fat Gum. In some matches, you don't even get to transform. So the faults of Fat Gum really outweigh the benefits of Slim Gum. But anyway, that's why Fat Gum is at D tier, but not the worst character in the game. Compress is the worst character in the game, and here's why. Compress's combos make the opponent travel a lot, and if there's a wall, those combos drop, which means this character doesn't even work on small stages, and on big stages, every single hit is situational. If the opponent is near a wall, your combo will most likely drop. You can go for less damaging combos if you don't want to drop it, but his damage was already just average, so you're nerfing the character even further. His air game is really bad, his zoning is unreliable. This character needs a major rework in my opinion. Next up, the nerf you've been waiting for, Mirio. He lost his infinite combo, he lost his infinite permeation, he can still cancel his permeation with an assist, which is fair, at least he needs to spend a resource to do that, but even though they got rid of what was so broken with Mirio, this character is still strong. Permeation counters everything in this game. Mirio can still cancel his ground permeation, which allows him to play some insane mind games. He does like the damage without spending resources though. With 1 bar of meter, his damage is really good, but without meter, his damage is one of the worst in the game. But despite that, we're still gonna place him at A tier. You can't use permeation blindly anymore, you have to use it as a counter, which I think was always how Mirio was meant to be played. He's a strong character, but now only for smart players. Keimi got the biggest nerf in this patch, and it was completely unintentional. Keimi's patch notes mention her red attack being slower now, and that's definitely a nerf, but where she got hit the most was with her health. There is a glitch right now where combos on Keimi reset without scaling, so basically, every combo that you do deals 50% more damage on Keimi. She dies extremely fast, and it was clearly an unintentional bug that will be fixed in the future. Without this bug, Keimi would drop a couple of slots on the tier list because of her red attack, but with the bug, she's dropping all the way down to C tier. Now, I've seen some people calling her the worst character in the game now, but I think those people forget that she still has all of her other tools. Her damage is still average, but she gets knockdowns, and the pressure she gets with her Mirage Dust on Wake Up is still incredible. Keimi can still kill you, but she can't make as many mistakes now as she dies incredibly fast. And from the biggest loser of this patch, we go to the biggest winner, Uraraka Ochako. Uraraka got a lot of tweaks to her quirk, especially the summoning of her rocks, which gave her this loop guaranteeing 16,000 damage every time she touches you. And it doesn't matter whether she touches you on the ground or the air, she's gonna deal this damage. On top of that, the full loop builds about 2 letters of meter, and with 3 letters, you can throw her plus Ultra 1 for 21,000 damage. Uraraka now has consistent high damage every time she touches you, and if that wasn't enough, she's got a very good projectile that makes her jump back. Not only is that useful for zoning, it can also be used to make her safe on block too. Plus that red attack, still one of the fastest in the game. It's insanely good. With all these tools, Uraraka is gonna raise all the way up to S tier, becoming one of the strongest characters currently in the game. And that, folks, completes our list of changes, but we're still missing our new character, Hawks. I want to start by saying that Hawks is an extremely well-balanced character. He has his downsides, like having a slower dash, bad tracking on his projectiles, big recovery from pretty much all of his moves, and a lot of holes in his pressure, but then he also has his upsides, like being able to throw projectiles while dashing, having very big attack buttons, and being able to work with a lot of different teams because of his feathers. Right in the middle of this tier list, we have All Might and All For One, which for both me and Smoke, we consider them to be the pinnacle of balance in this game. Characters that have big flaws but also very good tools. And since Hawks is also a balanced character and fits within that mindset, my first instinct is to put him around that area. But I'm gonna push him a bit further ahead because those projectiles while dashing and the amazing air attack buttons are gonna win him the neutral most of the time. If the opponent blocks, he's gonna have to work hard to open them up, but I think that, along with the amount of meter that he builds up during combos, are gonna push him slightly above average. We're gonna rank him right above Nejire. And that completes our tier list until the next patch at least. Some other characters got affected by this patch, but that didn't really change their spot, like the Endeavor nerf. Ugh. Come on. So I want to thank Smoke for taking the time out of his day to help me out with this tier list, and I want to thank Rich for sponsoring this video. Link down below, 10% off with code Globku10. And I pass the question off to you guys. Were you guys happy with the patch changes? Did it help your main character? Did they get nerfed? Let me know how the patch affected you personally in the comments down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye.